What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to do a video with my updated top fragrances this summer. It's been pretty freaking hot here in South Carolina. It's like some sort of heat wave or something, always like 90s, even triple digits sometimes. So I'm going to be giving you all the fragrances that I've been wearing the most and that I think are best for this high heat summertime. But before we get into the list, I just want to say if you want to sample any fragrance in my entire collection, please check out my fragrance subbing website, top link in the description. It would help me a ton and I would really appreciate it. Now let's get into the list. All right, so this list is not really in any particular order, but I'm gonna start with my two current favorites and my two newest actually. So first, Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton. Oh my goodness, this fragrance right here, you know, it is hyped up and it is expensive, but this fragrance just like, it's gotta have something illegal in here that just makes you addicted or something. This is a fruity, fresh, clean summer fragrance, honestly. It's more like a kind of minty, refreshing drink in the opening, but pretty quickly, it's just like a fruity, like fresh, just awesomeness. I know apricot is one of the main notes in here, and you definitely get a little bit of like a lime kind of feel from it as well. It's like apricot, lime, maybe a little bit of like plummy apple. And then also I know on the dry down there's a date note, which is really interesting. And I would say that this fragrance does change like throughout its like lifespan, if you will. And yeah, it definitely starts out kind of minty, then gets more fruit focused, and then kind of has like a deeper fruit focus, which I guess is coming from the date note. But yeah, this is probably my favorite right now. If I were to pick one, I love it so much. The performance isn't necessarily out of this world, but it's not horrible either. I've been getting around 5 to 6 hours on average, but I did have one time where I sprayed it on my wrist early in the day, and then when I was showering, like at nighttime, I got a whiff of it off my wrist. That was just like a one-time thing, but it did happen. So longevity isn't horrible, and I really, really like this fragrance. I know there's a clone out there that just came out, Rayhan's Pacific Aura or something, so maybe I'll check it out. I know there's also like the Boujeremy one and then the new Afghan Rare Reef. So if you guys want me to check out any of those, definitely comment down below and I can buy them and, you know, tell you how they compare to Pacific Chill. But this is probably my #1 summer scent right now, Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton. Now, if I couldn't pick Pacific Chill, then I would pick Imagination. I know, another Louis Vuitton fragrance, hyped, you know, expensive again, but this is probably one of my favorite DNAs of all time, maybe my favorite DNA right now. I own 2 clones of it as well, and dude, this stuff is so good. It opens up with just a nice, like, citrusy, like, herbal fresh tea-ness, if that makes sense. I just made up a word, tea-ness. But yeah, it's like citrusy, fresh, soapy in the opening, and then as it dries down, it just gets less citrusy and more focused on like a clean, super soapy, slightly fruity, not really, but you get a little touch of like a lemon kind of vibe. But yeah, just like a tea, smooth, like floral soapy scent. And it's super masculine, and I really enjoy this. I think this is probably the most inoffensive fragrance you could ever wear. Once again, performance around 6 hours for me, so not insane. But you know, for a fresh fragrance, it's hard to ask for more. I'd say compared to the clones that I have, this is definitely a little bit more like natural smelling, if you will. And the other two, I have Game of Spades Full House right here, and then also Alhermain's Amber Oud Aqua Dubai. I'd say they're both a little bit fruitier, but also a little bit stronger. I think overall, though, this is just better than both of them. I know it's a crap ton of money, but this fragrance right here, if you can get your nose on it, I think totally smell it before you buy. Please don't like blind buy these Louis Vuitton fragrances that are $350. But if you can get your nose on this, please do. Louis Vuitton Imagination is just a banger. All right, so those last 2 fragrances I've had for not very long at all. It's been like not even 2 weeks. But this next fragrance I've had for a long time, Parfums de Marly Greenley. This is my 2nd bottle, and I'm already making a decent dent in it. A lot of that is fragrance samples that you guys have ordered, but at the same time, I have worn this quite a few times. This fragrance right here is, man, it's so good. This is a green apple focused, super fruity, fresh, like woody, almost soapy scent. If it wasn't for the oak moss note in here, it would definitely be like a candy kind of green apple kind of smell. But since there's like a musky, woody oak moss in the base, which is just a really hard note to describe. So you just have to kind of smell it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just heavy fruitiness. I know there's a little bit of mandarin in here as well. Super nice. I highly recommend this. This is very mass appealing. First time I wore this, I got a compliment, and that pretty much just kicked off my love for this fragrance. Not that compliments mean everything. The smell profile is still amazing. This has been in my top 10 personal list for a really long time, and I have quite a few fragrances. But yeah, this is a terrific scent. I feel like it just smells kind of like springtime when everything's blooming and you go outside and it's just sweet and happy. Now, this is still an amazing fragrance for the summertime, even though it smells like spring, but that's just what it reminds me of. So, Parfums de Marly Greenley, highly recommend. This is one of my favorite Parfums de Marly's, maybe my favorite. I don't know, it's up there. But yeah, Parfums de Marly Greenley, definitely check it out. I highly recommend you get your nose on this. Next up is a fragrance that used to be my all-time favorite summer fragrance, and it's still really high up there. It's just not my absolute #1 favorite anymore, but it's Roja Elysium. And I'm really sad. The bottle's like almost empty. This is my first bottle of it, and man, is this fragrance good. You're immediately hit with like a fruity kind of ginger, grapefruit, lime opening, and it really quickly like transforms. I'd say this fragrance is one of those fragrances that really changes throughout its lifetime. It has about a 6-hour lifetime, and from the first spray to the dry down, they're almost like completely different fragrances. Like they are completely different smells. Like I said, when you open with this fragrance, it's like a citrusy like balm. And then as you kind of go through the middle, you're gonna get more of an aquatic kind of woody aspect to it. And then once you get to the base, a vanilla note comes out. So it's like a warm, ambery, aquatic scent. I think labdanum is in here as well, which is typically combined with amber. So yeah, this fragrance just ends up being like an ambery, aquatic, slightly fruity, just masterpiece, honestly. This is like art. One of the fragrances that just like really speaks to me, you know, like it feels very artistic. I don't know if that sounds dumb, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty expensive, so I definitely recommend trying it before you buy it. But yeah, Roja Elysium, I highly recommend this scent. Pretty good longevity for a freshie as well, and it smells amazing. So yeah, Roja Elysium. Next up was my most worn fragrance for a period of time. It is YSL EDP. This is my second bottle of it. And this fragrance you just cannot go wrong with, ever. Honestly, this is probably my favorite or second favorite designer scent of all time. This is, once again, a fruity green apple scent, similar to Greenley, but it is done in a completely different way. It is also kind of like a soapy, fresh scent, but this is much more like punchy, sharp, and like sporty. Compared to Greenley, is a little bit more woody, reserved for what it is. I'd say this is just like a fruity, sweet, fresh, like young version of Greenley, with an added kind of like, not metallic smell, but the green apple is really punchy. Compared to Greenley, it's just sweet and kind of enveloping. With this, it's like fresh. But yeah, and it's got a little bit of woodiness, like I said. It's got some lavender and sage to give it a little bit of like an aromatic, soapy touch. And I really, really enjoy this. I've gotten a ton of compliments with this. This is probably in my top 3 of most complimented fragrances. So yeah, YSL EDP, definitely get your nose on it. Lasts like 6 to 8 hours typically for me, but I had one day that it lasted me like 12. So take that with what you will, but yeah, YSL EDP, just a terrific fragrance. I highly, highly recommend it. All right, so I have a fragrance here that I just want to quickly hit on. Has an absolutely amazing smell profile, but the performance just sucks, if I'm being honest. This is Chanel Allure Homme Sport Edition Blanche Eau de Parfum. And man, this is maybe the best smelling fragrance in my collection. Definitely a contender, I'd say. Smells like a straight up lemon meringue pie. Lemon, creamy vanilla, and just like a gourmand aspect. This is one of the best gourmand freshies I've ever smelled, but it only lasts like 2 or 3 hours. So I do wear it, but only for things that I'm gonna be out for 2 hours, and then I go home and put on a new fragrance. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it real quick. I'm not going to go too much more in depth. Amazing smell, but performance is iffy. So for 150 bucks, I don't know. Definitely get your nose on it though. And I have another example of the same thing. Creed Virgin Island Water. Had this for a minute and it just smells absolutely amazing. It's lime mixed with like this coconutty like woodiness. it's just super good. Like vanilla, coconut, lime. Smells like a pina colada, but replace the pineapple with lime. Or not really replace. There's still like a tiny bit of pineapple, but like a very limey pina colada. But once again, it only lasts like 2 or 3 hours. And this is even more expensive. This is $250 at the cheapest I can find it. So I don't know. Totally get your nose on it if you fall in love with it and you're cool just reapplying. Hey. But for me, honestly, I don't know. I just love this smell so much. Once again, a contender for one of the best smells in my whole collection. It just doesn't last. And the last fragrance I wanted to mention is just kind of my all reliable fallback scent. This is Parfums de Percival. You can never go wrong wearing this fragrance. This is just masculine freshness. I don't know. There's definitely a ton of ambroxan in here, which if you don't know what that is, it's just like that fresh smell in men's cologne that you can't really describe. It also has a little bit of muskiness, a little bit of fruitiness, and a ton of soapiness. Heavy dose of a lavender in here that really just, it's a sweet lavender. So think of like a sweet woody lavender with a slight fruity touch that just like captivates you. It's almost addicting. And the performance on here is probably best fragrance on this whole list. So I saved it till last, that way only you guys that stay till the end get to hear it. But this is so good. 8 to 10 hours longevity. You can never go wrong wearing this. Maybe my #1 fragrance, like ever. I don't know. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that. But yeah, Parfums de Percival, you can never go wrong with this. I highly recommend this. Crazy compliments too. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my fragrance sampling website. Top link in the description if you want to sample anything in my collection. Also, I just wanted to add a side note. I've been really enjoying this. Lattafa Assad Zanzibar. Coconutty, vanilla. Very unique, very polarizing, but I love it. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.